Good morning. May peace be in your hearts. Through the energy of freedom and the warmth of love, may you live the fullness of being alive, and in that fullness find peace. Through justice and understanding, may humanity be at peace, and may all of life on earth live together in balance and peace. The service today has an inclusive theme, and so I thought I'd start with an inclusive hymn. Come, come, whoever you are, number 118. It's a slightly shortened version of a poem by Rumi, who writes, "Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come." Nancy.
We'll go through twice. 188.
I invite us to read together the affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. Quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. Thank you. At this time, if there are any announcements, Donald will give you the microphone.
On the first Sunday in March, I think that's March 5th, we're going to have a new member recognition service that will last about 5 or 10 minutes at the beginning of the regular service. This is when people are invited, if they choose, to sign the membership book. Some people don't even realize that we're a membership book. If you're the difference between members and other people who attend are that members, when an important decision is made about the life of the church, it's the official members who get a vote, and the others do not. But otherwise, there's no difference. If you're just someone who attends because you like coming and you don't want to, there's a commitment to signing the membership book, that's fine. We'll still ask you for money. And we'll still be nice to you, and we're very happy. And if, well, anyway, I just wanted you to know that we'll be doing that. Next shift, it'll just be 5 or 10 minutes. And of course, normally you can sign the book other Sundays too, but we don't happen to have it with us right now. Today. Who is the preacher next week?
Rob Ross.
Rob Ross of the Brockton Church next week. Other announcements?
Our weekly announcement about Course in Miracles. This is every Friday on Zoom. Our Zoom master is right there on the booking. And our other participants are Richard Trudeau, right here, Alan Lujo, and Dave Knox, who's a backside nurse, and Andrea Lorenz Fry, who is a commentator from Course in Miracles, and is a regular master. Course in Miracles is probably falls under the category of esoteric psychology, esoteric ministry, and whatever else you may have, whether it's up to you. Is that every Friday?
Every Friday night. So I have two announcements. The first one is United Interfaith Action. Has a planning meeting Monday. We've been invited to talk at Representative Sylvia's town hall meeting at Good Shepherd Church. I believe it's March 2nd. So everyone is invited if you want to attend this. The second announcement concerns Reverend Paul Langston Daly. They had invited the congregation to participate in a discussion on Article 2 of the national bylaws. So I attended the first session. It's, you can attend, I guess, 3 or 4 more sessions coming up. But one thing, maybe somebody could shoot me an email. He asked that everybody that's participating, and I guess there's a bunch of societies, New Bedford, Brockton, I think, Fairhaven, Concord, and anyway, bring a little history of the congregation. And so there's a lot more knowledge here than what I possess. So if anybody can help me out, shoot me a text or email, gives me a little background on the history of the church here. Al A. Joe, so I can write it down.
And just to introduce myself, there's a little paragraph about my background in the order of service, and I'm the Reverend Ken Reeves. I visited in October, and I'm glad to be back. Well, we are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, which means to me that we are a support community for people on various journeys towards ultimate goals, such as love, or peace, or union. And one of the ways we support each other is by seeing each other as of equal value. We differ in various ways, but equality lets us stand at equal heights and build bridges across to each other. Our differences make walking across and meeting on those bridges exciting. And we can teach the world how to build bridges to equals. And bridges to equals is what today's sermon is about. I offer this service out of my caring for you, my desire to support you on your journeys. I hope that as you journey, you find love and freedom and live the full richness of being alive. Dear God, Great Spirit, we are on a journey. It is a journey from fear to love. It is a journey home. It's not always an easy journey, and so be with us on our path. Support us on this journey. Hold us in your hands and give us strength. Amen. To connect as equals, it takes some humility. And for that, I'd like to sing together hymn number 16, "It is a Gift to Be Simple." The psychologist Alfred Adler addressed equality and love in this way. He wrote, "Inequality makes loving relationships or mutual cooperation impossible." I might phrase it positively myself. I might say, equality makes loving relationships and mutual cooperation possible. Thank you, Nancy. Through history, as humanity has developed, so has social equality. Laws applying equally to everyone, democracy in which everyone's voice matters, universal education, these moves have supported equality. Extending rights to women, children, and minorities has helped. In religious circles, the printed Bible allowed readers to have their own religious thinking, not wait for the hierarchy to tell them what to think. The universalist belief that all are saved further supported equality. This development of equality resembles the tectonic shifts of continents, such that over many years we can find ourselves in a whole new place. This development also occurs one person at a time, which calls to mind my friend Bill. A few years ago, I visited Bill in Manhattan. We met in a courtyard near his office and bought a couple of big, soft New York pretzels. Bill told the pretzel man, "I am so grateful you sell pretzels here. It must be hard work, on your feet for hours in all kinds of weather, but this pretzel just makes my day." The pretzel man said, "This is the first." A homeless man walked by asking for change. Bill asked him, "Do you like New York pretzels as much as I do?" The man paused and looked at us. Bill broke off half his pretzel and handed it to the man, saying, "If this isn't a great pretzel, come back and I'll give you another." And the man walked off munching. I said, "Are you a nut or something?" Bill said, "No, I'm just bringing love to New York City. Don't you think New York needs a little love?" We walked up the avenue. A manhole was open with a few phone workers around eating lunch. Bill remarked to them, "It must be difficult working underground, but it makes so much difference to everyone when our phone calls go through." The workers stopped mid-bite and looked at Bill. I wanted to tell them, "I'm not with this guy." One nodded at Bill. He looked at the man next to him and the two made a little fist bump. I said, "Cut it out. You're making me nervous." "I do this all the time," he said. "Nobody's taken a pot shot at me yet. I mean, what's so bad about appreciating people and seeing the world through their eyes? I mean, what does it get me to wrap myself up in a cloak of superiority or shut myself down in fear of being seen as inferior? Yeah, I'm unusual, but pretty soon everyone in New York is going to be benevolent and caring. Look, an Indian Pakistani restaurant. And over there, a kosher deli that features Palestinian falafels. And it's happened in my office." "You're kidding," I said. "Restaurants are one thing," but I knew his law office, Deckham, Lord and Ash, with its reputation for coldness and superiority. He said, "Yep, since I've been there, it's a whole new place." My friend, an attorney, had lost a job at his former law firm by getting into constant struggles with his colleagues. He used to complain that they were out to get him, watching and judging his every move. He would then leap to judgments of them. "I can't believe how stupid he is. How she became a partner, I'll never know. And he's so judgmental. How can I work with that judgment hanging over me?" This went on for a year until they showed him the door. Bill sent out resumes and obtained interviews, and at each interview he railed at how stupid his former law firm had been and how judged he had felt there. Yeah, he received no offers. My friend could be a little prickly, but he was kind to me, and I always sensed in him a capacity for understanding. One day someone else did too. Bill told me his story. He says, I was going for my interview at, Deckham, Lord and Ash. Nervous as a long-tailed cat entering a room full of rocking chairs. I knew my interview style wasn't working for me, but I kept expecting my interviewer to see things as I did. I wanted to make such an airtight case against my old firm that my interviewer would say, "You were wrong. You were done wrong. Your judgment is flawless, and their loss is our gain." In the elevator going to my interview, I sensed everyone silently picking me apart. My suit, my tie, my hair, my face. And I stood there picking them apart. Shiny suits, garish ties, misguided haircuts, and lifeless faces. At the 30th floor, everyone left the elevator but me and an elderly gentleman. He looked anxious, and I thought, what do you have to be scared of? I'm the one going for a job interview. The elevator rose, then with a snap, jerked to a halt, and the lights went out. The man said, "Uh-oh." I said a few choice expletives. I was going to be late for my interview. I banged on the door. The man groaned. I heard him slump to the floor. I groped and found the emergency phone. Hello, I said. I'm stuck in an elevator somewhere above the 30th floor. We know, a voice said. Be calm. We're just starting to look into this. We don't know what happened. It may take some time. How long? We don't know. Be patient. Then the old man said, I hate this. I got claustrophobic. I thought the exact thing I don't need, to be stuck in an elevator with a nutcase. I'm shaking, the man said. The old man continued. When I was a boy, they punished me by locking me in a closet. They'd leave me alone for hours. That stopped me. In the dark of the elevator, I could see in my mind's eye a boy cowering in a closet, and something inside of me opened to this man. Maybe it was because I could see nothing, and so my heart's imagination went to work. Maybe it was because we both shared our current misfortune, stuck in an elevator. Maybe his aloneness in a closet reminded me of my aloneness, always one up or one down, never at one with. Though strange to me, I felt close to this man and could glimpse what he was going through. It was not a cataclysm like God speaking to Saul on the road to Tarsus, more of the still small voice that told me I was connected to this man. I paused with this realization and then spoke. It's different now, I told him. We are in this together. You're not alone. We both sat breathing. I said, I can relate. When I was a boy playing football, one day everyone tackled me under a mountain of boys. I couldn't see, couldn't breathe. My face pushed into the dirt. I thought the weight would crack my ribs. We introduced ourselves and talked of other experiences in enclosed spaces. Not so bad for me. As a kid, I played making tents and forts in my room. He had once almost drowned. I said, I can see how a small space would upset you. The man said, I don't change the oil in my car. I can't slide underneath to unscrew the plug. I couldn't conceive of going into a cave. Even New York City feels too confined. It's an island and all these skyscrapers. I'd be happier in Montana. I'm the only person in America who takes vacations to Nebraska. But I love to see the open sky. As a young man, he continued, I traveled the country hopping freight trains. I remember one August afternoon in North Dakota. The prairie swept out endless on all sides, grass and grain waving in the breeze. The sun seemed to ease down like a child settling to sleep. It washed everything in gold. The train rocked like a mother, and I stood on this open flat car soaking in the light and the space. That night, the stars swam in the sky above the moving train, and the occasional farmhouse glowed, and the earth seemed to breathe and repose, awaiting the next dawn. And when the sun rose, the ponds offered wisps of vapor, and ducks and geese and larks seemed to leap into the transparent, infinite sky. You know what they call a group of larks? An exaltation of larks. Again, in my mind's eye, I could imagine his experience and almost see the open prairie. He asked, do you work here? I said, no, I have a job interview. I'll bet you're nervous. Yeah, I am. I hate feeling judged. I'd be nervous too, but your interviewer has a big job themselves and might also be anxious. And whatever judgment occurs, you're just as human as your interviewer. But bet you get hired. You're a calming presence. You let me talk about my fears and then about North Dakota. Who else would care to hear a story about North Dakota? I'd hire you. You work at Deckham, Lord and Ash? No, and I hear they're a tough old law firm. But then again, they're human and nervous and could use your calm listening. I listened to us breathing in the dark. He asked, would it bore you to hear more of my travels? I find it comforting. I'm not going anywhere. So onto the black canvas of the elevator, he painted verbal landscapes of the wide spaces of America. The Mojave Desert, the rim of the Grand Canyon, wheat fields in Kansas. After a while, we heard some activity outside and a crowbar pried open the door, casting light upon us. Mechanics pulled us out. The man and I parted. A worker ushered me into Deckham, Lord and Ash and explained my tardiness. I sat across from my interviewer, who looked peeved. I thought of saying, I've just been stuck in an elevator, so lighten up and give me a break. But I could see his situation like I could see the prairies through the old man's eyes. I said, instead, you must have had to juggle your schedule to meet with me now. He grunted and went through a series of questions. He's human, I reminded myself, and anxious. As we finished, I said, you face a big challenge finding the best person for this job. A lot of weight must ride on your shoulders. He looked at me, skepticism on his face. I shook his hand. Good luck. As I rode another elevator down, I smiled at me, the applicant, wishing him good luck. A few days later, he called to tell me I had the job. As I basked in the firm's acceptance and my chance for a new start, I thought of the man in the elevator. He had caught me at my neurotic worst, judging others and fearing others' judgment, and set up the opposite, accepting others and being accepted. Maybe he was my spirit guide. Maybe he was giving me divine support for doing the hard but good thing. Maybe he was my version of George Bailey's angel Clarence. I wanted to thank him. And so I began at Deckham, Lord and Ash, the infamous law firm. A haughty associate showed me around. I thought he's trying hard to appear superior, but we're equally human. What might he be afraid of? If he were stuck in an elevator together, what might he be afraid of? And a still small voice of insight told me that he would fear not being in control. To help him feel in control, I told him, I am glad to have you showing me around. You seem to have your finger on the pulse of this firm. He seemed to brighten up. I met my secretary, who looked like a turtle with half her head inside her shell. I said, I hope we can work together as a team because I need your help learning the ways of this office. I am sure you know a lot about how this firm operates, and I'm open to all you can teach me. She stood taller. Yes, I'd be glad to. One day, a partner with a reputation for feasting on associates and picking his teeth with their bones stalked into my office. I felt afraid, but simply sat and listened. Maybe everyone else either used his surliness for profit or ran away from it. Maybe no one just stayed and listened to him. As I listened, I said very little, except to restate his grievances and offer the guest, with so much bothering you, it sounds painful. He nodded and looked out the window and into the distance. When he left, he shook my hand and thanked me. Word filtered back to me that another junior associate had learned of my firing at the other firm and had told the office an exaggerated version of my failings. I told everyone of his success in a recent case. For a while, he gave me odd looks. But when we were both assigned to a case, he welcomed me into his office and said, "I asked to work this case with you. I think we'll make a good team." And we did. Months went by. Everything seemed to be going along pretty well, until one day the senior partner, Mr. Lord, stormed into my office. "Mr. Bridges," he declared, "for 30 years, this organization has been steeped in superiority and suspicion at every rung of the chain of command. But now my clerk, ordinarily his own species of snake, has become affable to the point of making bows to the janitor. One senior partner, who has lived to display the epitome of sartorial stuffiness, now lounges in his office in shirt sleeves and braces. Another partner, whose reputation for egregious surliness has never been challenged, now insists on sitting at partners' meetings with a grin plastered across his face. The associates, whose stab fests once rivaled those of the Roman Senate, now roam our corridors seeking someone's back to pat. Even the secretaries are cheerful. It's an outrage. As I consult with our staff about this, fingers point to you. What can you tell me about this sea change at Deckham, Lord, and Ash? He's human and afraid, I had to tell myself. Scared of change, of his firm losing status, of personal vulnerability, of not being in control. I said, "Sir, I can appreciate the problem. Things seem different here, and I may be a factor. I confess, I have grown weary of judging and of being judged. And so I am seeing the people around me as of equal value to myself and seeing their perspective on the world. That may have had an influence, perhaps to ease tensions here at the office. But I realize you are the senior partner with a call to lead this firm. You have to uphold standards and keep the ship of this law firm on its proper course. Sir, leadership is a lonely and thankless job." I could see an ounce of weight lift from his shoulders. "Right you are, Bridges," he said as he left. A few days later, he had me in for brandy to talk over his vision for the firm. More work for the indigent and the environment. It seemed Mr. Lord had felt alone, with no peer in whom to confide. Though he still saw me as an underling, he also saw me as someone who could glimpse his burdens and understand. My friend told me the story and added, "It's a shift from a life of being better or worse than others to seeing life through others' eyes. I look at someone else and realize he or she is not better or worse than me. And then I ask myself, What is this human being, my brother or my sister, going through? People give me funny looks, but from this perspective, it is as if we are all in an elevator, stuck at the same level, and we may as well support each other. Deckham, Lord, and Ash is now a pleasure to work for, and my friend Bill Bridges seems joyful as he breaks bread with homeless men and sips brandy with law partners. His insight is ultimately spiritual, that the spirit thrives in connections, in relationships, in love, and that connections do not cross lines of superior and inferior. Indeed, the spirit sees no ranking and loves all equally and infinitely. The spirit supports us as we make graceful arches to connect with the sacred in each other. This is a service about mutual support, and one of the ways a congregation supports each other is by sharing their financial resources in such a time as the offering. At this time, I invite those who wish to share a joy or a concern, something we may celebrate together, or something for which you would like the healing energy of our shared meditation.
I think my voice carries me. It doesn't. I've told you this before, but this Wednesday, my new book, I'm giving reading at Swansea Library on bird language at 6:30 p.m. I just want to invite anybody interested in birds and their vocalizations. Please come.
This is his second book about birds. A long time ago, but I want to tell you the trombone story. He'd sit on the deck, and the bird would whistle, and he'd whistle back and slightly change the whistle. The bird would whistle back, change the whistle, back and forth, back and forth. The scientists play the bird's whistle on the speaker. The birds attack the speaker.
Microphone's turned off.
There's a reason.
I meant to say earlier, this is not a good reason. If we don't have the email address, we'd love to have it. And where we'd love to have it is on the guest list. And we promise, we won't be like PDF. We won't send you an email every day for the rest of your life. We'll just send you an email once in a while.
I had oh, you turned it off. But anyway, I had a beautiful joy this week. Last Sunday when we left, I heard that the weather was going to change and be beautiful this week. So of course it was beautiful weather. So I went out and about and I bumped into a couple who were homeless on the streets in Fall River. And I just sat there and they started talking to me about their problem. And I said, do you want a solution to your problem? The woman said, yeah. I said, oh, do you believe in God? She said, yeah. We go to church all the time. I'm like, okay. I said, what do you want to do now? What do you want to do to predict your future? Well, I want to get clean. I said, okay. I got it in a couple of phone numbers. Help them get that going. They got their name on the list. They're going to go into detox and so on and so forth. It's a beginning. But that was something that was good because I don't know why they came to me and started talking to me. But they told me their problems and I said, there's a solution. As Reverend Randy Howard said in Robert Hughes from the House of Hope, people always want help. And they said they didn't have food stamps and stuff, so I got them a phone number. They started to make that connection. So that was beautiful. I was helping somebody. I was doing something that I believe that I've been doing for the last 8 years and helping people. I've been needy in the past being homeless, but at the same time, you say, hey, I might not have the richest pocket, but at least I can give them back something. And that's what I did this week. I gave back a lot. And I feel so good. I feel so much joy that I'm able to share it with you guys here at the Unitarian Church. I love you guys, and I love being out there just to say hello. Kindness, sharing, so on and so forth. Thank you.
Donald? Well, I'm glad we can be together and support each other and extend our support past these walls. I like this closing hymn. It's sort of has an attitude of peace and acceptance of one another. We have differences, and we are all able to live together at peace. It's called This Is My Song, hymn number 159. I want to thank Nancy for the beautiful playing, and Donald for the technical skills, and Richard also for helping me get the lay of the land with the order of service. And I'm thanking all of us for being together this morning, so that we can be a community that supports each other, supports the world. And we go out from here in peace. Amen.